Hey, here I am again once more. This is Prophet O'Brien, just come to you again. I just want to talk to you today about the relationship between servanthood to master. Like servant, slave. What is that relationship? What is the responsibility of a servant? We look at the book of Philemon, Paul writing a letter to Philemon on the behalf of one Onesimus, a runaway slave. We want to look at Jesus as a prime example. Jesus gave everything to his friends. He gave his knowledge of God. He gave his own life. He gave every wisdom, everything that God has imparted into him. He poured out to those that he considers to be his friend. When we look at it in John chapter 15, let me read a few script verses for you. From verse 15 to 17, it says, "Henceforth I called you not servants, for the servant knows not what the Lord or the master does, but I have called you friend or friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you." There's no excuse. Everything that the Father has taught him, he is revealing it unto you today because of the purpose of that servanthood. Listen, he said, "You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit." Even as a servant, your responsibility to the master is to bring forth fruit. Onesimus' responsibility to Philemon is to be useful, is to be profitable, is to be helpful in whatever areas of capacity that he placed him in. As a servanthood, as a servant leader to your master, your responsibility is to be profitable in everything, not an unprofitable servant, because no one wants an unprofitable servant to labor in their vineyard. No one open up a business and put someone to works in there and they sit behind the desk playing video game or be on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube all day and does not produce any labor. They have become unprofitable to the organization or the entity that they're hired to be workers in. But they want you to be profitable in that area so that you can show forth that which they have called you to do. Here we go. The Bible says, "And that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask in the Father's name, he shall give it unto you." Jesus is giving this example to them that, listen to me, whatever area I'm calling you, even though I'm calling you as a servant to the master, I want whatever area that I place you into will be profitable, and whatever things that you ask of me, the master, I will give it to you. Paul is sitting here now speaking for Philemon, speaking to Philemon on the behalf of one Onesimus, who's labeled and titles as given the name as a one that is useful, one that is profitable, one that is helpful to me in whatever areas of his life. But Onesimus looked as himself as being unprofitable, because why? The work that he might ask, Philemon might ask him to do, he doesn't want to be there to labor in that vineyard. Though he might be eating right or drinking right or sleeping right, he does not want to be a slave unto his master. But as Christians, we realize that Paul, every time he addresses himself, he does not addresses himself as the apostle Paul, but he addresses himself as a servant to the Lord, a slave, a bondman to the Lord. He recognized his position as a bondman over the position of him being an apostle. If a man cannot be a true servant, then he cannot be a true apostle. The apostleship should not take ownership over who you are. Paul's always addressed himself first before his designation as an apostle. Because why? It is more important for you to be hired in that field than having that position. How can you say that you're a clerk or you're a lawyer or you're a doctor and you haven't been hired yet? You want to obtain the job, but you have not been put into the field to labor. I don't want to do that labor, but you want to reap the benefit. You have to first be a servanthood to the field that you are called to. This is why Paul placed that emphasis. I am a bondman, not a bondman by force, but by free will. Remember when he was walking on the road to Damascus with his friends, when he had the decree to go destroy all that calls upon the name of Jesus, and he had that encounter when the light came upon him. He said, listen to me. Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, it is me, Jesus, whom thou hast crucified. Why is it so hard for you to kick against the prick? You're kicking against the will of the master. The master wants you to work in this field, but you're kicking against him and doing the things that is of yours, that of your own self, that is causing you to be unprofitable. And Paul recognized it instantaneous within himself. Though he was not saved, but he recognized a true leader, how the Lord presents himself to him. And without a conviction, without the Lord asking him or telling him what to do, Paul puts himself out there first. Lord, before you even say one more word, Jesus, what will you have me to do? The servant relationship between the master is knowing what will the master want you to do. Before you go and fill out that application to get that job, no matter how high the job is or no matter how small or minute it might be, know what the master is asking. Know what the requirements. Lord, what will you have me to do? Because I want to work diligently in this vineyard. What is your loyalty to this master? Where does your loyalty lies in this job? Do you have your complete attention? Does the master has your complete attention or devotion if he puts you to works in this field? This is why Jesus said to Peter, Peter, do you love me more than these? When we look at John 21 in verse 15, after they was sitting there dining, Jesus could come to John and say, John, I have a decree. I wanted to ask you something. I remember earlier on, you was asking who's the greatest and who's this, but I want to know something, John, of you. Before I place this mantle on you, before I give you this commission to go out into the field and work and to labor diligently for me, Peter, do you love me more than these? It's a heavy task. Onesimus only sees himself here in Philemon as a slave. All he saw himself was just a slave worker. Oh, I'm sitting down here. I'm just laboring in a field of a slave master that does not have the understanding and the wisdom and the knowledge and doesn't have the empathy of those that are around him. We are here and we are doing so much labor. Some people are in church that are there. They're saying, oh, they don't see me as the usher. They don't see me as the doorman. They don't see me as the one that cleaned the bathroom. They don't see me as the sing. Did you know that I have the ability to do thus and thus? But they're just limited. Paul said, I better have just to be a doorman in the house of David said, I just want to be a doorman in the house of the Lord. You don't even know the position you have. Onesimus did not realize the place that he stand or the position that God has given him in the house of Philemon. He ran away. When we look at the story, he ran away from that place and gone far to Rome, only to find himself where he needs to be, at the feet of one that was running away also, that God has met on the road to Damascus, change his name from Saul and present him to be a bondservant, Paul the Apostle. Onesimus, sit there, listen to the tutelage, listen to the wisdom and the knowledge of this 63-year-old prisoner sitting in the prison in Rome. Now he become helpful. He thought that he was useless to Philemon. Now he become helpful to Paul. What is it that you're running from and that you're running back into? Where you realize that relationship that I was in, they didn't value me that much. But here I am now, stepping out. You're looking back over it. Was it me, my thinking, or their doing? Was it their doing? Or their thinking and not my doing? What is it? I gotta fix this. Well, Paul had to get him to a place of conversion. Change your heart. Change your mind. And I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to send you back there because I want to turn some stuff. God want to turn some stuff back in your life. I want to talk to you next week or next time about knowing your position and service as a servant, as a slave. What is your relationship? I want to talk to you next time. But just have this understanding that by being a slave or being a servant, a slave might seem hard. Ooh, I don't want to be a slave. Slave is abolished. But that word servant, I don't want to be a servant to no one. I want to be the master. But in order to be the master, you're going to have to sit under someone first before you can get that mastery. You got to be mentored. You got to be taught. You got to be groomed. You got to be processed. Because if you left out there to your own demise, you will only cause mayhem and destruction. Onesimus, don't run away. Your master is waiting for you. But I want to send you back. Not the same way that you came. But send you back as a brother. And send you back with the good news. Please stay tuned for the next lessons. Knowing your position and service as a servant. Taken from Philemon. Please like, share, and subscribe to this broadcast. Again, this is Prophet Brian O'Brien. God bless you, and just keep on trusting God. Keep on believing. Keep on knowing that God is working something good in you. Just give up. Just let it go. Just let him have his way in you. Don't wrestle with him. Don't wrestle with your masters. Don't wrestle with your leaders. Just let the Lord have his way. Just do like Jesus did. Not my will, but thy will be done. Let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. I want to show you. When you know your position, you will know your worth, you will know your wealth, and you will know the power that is in you. Onesimus figured it out. And next time, I will help you to unlock and to figure it out. God bless you.